No one saw this coming, but now it's all anyone can talk about. Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris, two of the most controversial figures in love and hip-hop history, have been officially blacklisted from reality TV. That's right. After years of drama, betrayals, and headline-making moments, their time in the spotlight has come to an abrupt and shocking end. But why? What really went down behind the scenes that led to such a drastic decision? Sources claim it all started with an explosive backstage altercation, one so intense, so out of control, that even security couldn't contain it. Cameras were rolling, tempers flared, and before anyone knew it, fists were flying. Now, after years of being reality TV royalty, Kirk and Mendeecees are reportedly done for good. No more cameras, no more confessionals, just the harsh reality that they never saw coming. But is this really just about one fight? Or is there something much bigger lurking behind the scenes? Betrayals, secret alliances, and shocking revelations? This scandal runs deeper than anyone imagined. Stay tuned because we're about to break it all down. No one expected things to spiral out of control like this. The tension between Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris had been simmering for weeks, but no one thought it would explode into chaos. What started as harmless shade quickly escalated into a career-ending fight, one that would shake the entire love and hip-hop franchise to its core. It all went down during a private, closed-door after-show taping, a session meant to clear the air before the official reunion episode. No cameras, no audience, just cast members settling their differences behind the scenes. At least, that was the plan. But when you bring egos, grudges, and reality stars hungry for drama into the same room, something is bound to go wrong. And that night, it did. Kirk and Mendeecees were never close, but there was a level of mutual respect. Until recently. Rumors had been circulating that Mendeecees had been trash-talking Kirk behind his back, calling him a washed-up has-been who only stayed relevant because of Rashida's success. At first, Kirk ignored the whispers. Drama and gossip were nothing. New in love and hip-hop. But when multiple sources confirmed that Mendeecees had taken things even further, Kirk couldn't brush it off any longer. The accusations turned into full-blown allegations. Mendeecees was allegedly telling producers that Kirk was desperate to start fake beef just to stay on the show, that he was a liability bringing nothing new to the franchise except recycled scandals. For Kirk, that wasn't just gossip. It was personal. He really said, "I'm the one holding the show back." Kirk vented to cast members before the fight. This man barely got out of prison and now he thinks he runs things? It wasn't just about ego, it was about respect. And Kirk wasn't about to let Mendeecees disrespect his legacy. Before the taping, Kirk decided to confront Mendeecees privately, man to man. But Mendeecees wasn't backing down. "If you're so worried about what I'm saying, maybe you should fix what's broken," he allegedly told Kirk. His voice laced with arrogance, Kirk's face tensed, his jaw clenched. And that was all it took. What started as a heated argument quickly escalated into a screaming match. Cast members and producers looked on in shock. "You were a guest on this show. I built this before you even got here," Kirk snapped, jabbing a finger at Mendeecees. Mendeecees just laughed, a slow, mocking chuckle that sent Kirk over the edge. Before security could react, Kirk shoved Mendeecees hard, sending him stumbling back into a chair. That's when everything spiraled out of control. The moment Kirk shoved Mendeecees, everything erupted into chaos. Mendeecees lunged forward, grabbing Kirk's shirt. Within seconds, fists were flying, chairs crashed, glass shattered, cast members screamed, security rushed in, but both men were seeing red. Yandy Smith, Mendeecees' wife, yelled for him to stop, while Rashida desperately tried to pull Kirk away. But it was too late. The damage was done. And the worst part? It was all caught on camera. Someone in the room had pulled out their phone. The moment things got tense, recording everything. The second Kirk and Mendeecees threw punches, the footage was already spreading like wildfire. Within minutes, clips surfaced online. Fans were in shock. Social media exploded. Comment sections filled up instantly. "This is crazy. Kirk and Mendeecees really threw hands? Love and hip-hop will never be the same after this. If they get kicked off over this, I'm done watching." But while fans were still reacting, the Love and Hip Hop production team was in full panic mode. "This isn't just reality TV drama," one producer reportedly said. "This is career-ending." The fight was so brutal that producers had no choice but to shut down filming immediately. Kirk was pulled into one room, still fuming. Mendeecees was in another, his face twisted with rage. Behind the scenes, the network. Executives were already making a decision no one saw coming, because while fights were common in reality TV, this was too much, too violent, too real, too dangerous. Before the night was even over, an emergency meeting was called, and by the time the decision was made, Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris were about to face the biggest punishment of their careers. No warnings, no second chances, just the cold, hard truth. They were done. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Within hours, Love and Hip Hop producers had a full-blown crisis on their hands. But this wasn't just about broken chairs and bruised egos. The network executives weren't just angry, they were livid. Fights had happened before. Reality TV thrived on drama. A little pushing and shoving, that was expected. But this was different. This was two longtime cast members throwing down in a way that could have led to serious injuries. And worst of all, the footage was already out. The video spread like wildfire. Fans dissected every second of it. The moment Kirk shoved Mendeecees, the way Mendeecees lunged at him, the sounds of glass breaking in the background, and the reactions were explosive. Social media was split. Mendeecees had no right to talk down on an OG like Kirk. Nah, Kirk was out of line. He threw hands first. This is the craziest fight in Love and Hip Hop history. But the real problem wasn't just the public reaction. It was the industry backlash. Sponsors started pulling back. Executives worried about legal consequences. And that's when the decision was made. By the next morning, both Kirk and Mendeecees got the call. They were officially fired. No warnings. No negotiations. Just gone. Kirk was stunned. "This ain't real," he reportedly told Rashida, pacing back and forth in their Atlanta home. "They ain't never done nothing like this before. They need me. I've been here since the beginning." But Rashida knew better. "Kirk, you put your hands on him," she told him, and it got out. They had no choice. Kirk wasn't trying to hear it. In his mind, he was Love and Hip Hop. He'd been on the show for over a decade, built his brand, made money moves, and now they were tossing him aside like he was nothing. Meanwhile, Mendeecees was dealing with his own reality check. When he got the call, he was sitting in his living room with Yandy. The second he heard the words, "We're letting you go," his whole body tensed. Nah, that's not happening," he said, shaking his head. "I bring too much to this show. They need me." But Yandy wasn't about to let this slide. "So that's it?" she snapped, grabbing her phone. "They're just throwing you out after everything? After we built this show?" And she had a point. Yandy and Mendeecees had carried multiple seasons. Their relationship, his legal battles, their family struggles. It was all reality TV gold, but none of that mattered now. "I told you not to let him get to you," Yandy muttered, rubbing her temples. "And now look, we're done." The phone. Calls kept coming. Blogs picked up the story. Other cast members started weighing in. And soon, it wasn't just about the fight. New rumors started spreading, fast. Were Kirk and Mendeecees blacklisted from all reality TV? Some insiders claimed multiple networks were now hesitant to work with them, that they were seen as too much of a liability. One producer put it bluntly, "We can't have another situation like this. If Kirk and Mendeecees couldn't keep it professional, how can we trust them on another show?" It was like a domino effect. Sponsorship deals put on hold, potential spin-offs scrapped. Their entire reality TV careers hanging by a thread, but Kirk and Mendeecees weren't going down without a fight. Mendeecees called up his legal team, wanting to know if he could fight the decision, maybe even sue for wrongful termination. Kirk, on the other hand, had something bigger in mind. "If they think I'm just gonna disappear, they got another thing coming," he reportedly told a friend. "I built my name. I don't need Love and Hip Hop. I'll make my own moves." And just like that, the war wasn't just between them anymore. It was between Kirk, Mendeecees, and the entire Love and Hip Hop empire. The fallout from Kirk and Mendeecees' firing sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. They weren't just reality TV stars, they were staples of the genre, deeply woven into the Love and Hip Hop franchise. The show had turned them into household names, and now they were being erased from the very industry that made them famous. But neither Kirk nor Mendeecees was ready to fade into obscurity. Kirk, always the businessman, knew the power of public perception. If he was going to salvage his career, he had to control the narrative. Instead of hiding from the spotlight, he did the opposite. He leaned in. Within days of his firing, Kirk sat down for an exclusive interview with a major blog to tell his side of the story. "Listen," he began, staring directly into the camera. "What happened between me and Mendeecees was unfortunate, but at the end of the day, I was defending my honor. You don't come at me like that, especially on my turf. I've been with love and hip-hop since day one. I put in the work, and for them to just cut me off like that, it's foul." He wasn't just angry about the fight. He felt betrayed by the very show that had built him up. For years, Love and Hip Hop had capitalized on his personal drama, his marriage, his business moves, his controversies. And now, with one bad moment, it was as if none of that ever mattered. But Kirk refused to let the show write his final chapter. "I'm not done," he promised his fans. "They might have shut the door on me, but trust me, I got plenty of other doors I can open." Meanwhile, Mendeecees was handling things in his own way. The firing had hit him hard, but he wasn't about to lie down and accept it. Like Kirk, he knew controlling the narrative was key. So instead of focusing on the fight, Mendeecees used his platform to talk about his journey. "I've been through a lot," he said during an emotional Instagram live session. "From my legal battles to my time away from my family, I've always faced challenges head on. This is just another obstacle. But I'll tell you this, I don't regret standing up for myself. Respect is everything, and I won't let anybody disrespect me, on or off camera." By his side, Yandy wasn't staying quiet either. Her expression was calm, but her eyes were filled with controlled fury. She was upset, furious even. But more than that, she knew how this game worked. She had been in reality TV long enough to understand that sometimes you have to take the hits and bounce back stronger. "Trust me," she told their followers, "y'all haven't seen the last of Mendeecees. He's been through worse than this, and we always come out on top." But behind closed doors, Mendeecees wasn't as sure. Being cut off from Love and Hip Hop wasn't just a professional blow. It was personal. He had poured years of his life into the show. He had shared his struggles, his relationship, his family life, all for the world to see. And now, with one mistake, it felt like all of that was being taken away. "I don't know if we can bounce back from this," Mendeecees admitted to Yandy one evening, the weight of the situation finally hitting him. "This is our bread and butter. Without Love and Hip Hop, what's left?" But Yandy wasn't the type to sit around and feel sorry for herself. She was already thinking 3 steps ahead. "We'll make something happen," she reassured him. "We've got our own brand now. The fans love us, not just the show. We'll figure it out." But the real blow came when a new rumor hit the industry. Not only had Kirk and Mendeecees been fired, they were being blacklisted. At first it seemed like just another piece of gossip. But as the days passed, the rumors gained traction. Sources from multiple networks confirmed it. No other reality show wanted to touch them. And suddenly, the unthinkable became reality. Kirk and Mendeecees weren't just out of Love and Hip Hop, they were being shut out of the entire industry. It was a career death sentence. For the first time, both men were forced to ask themselves the same question. Was this really the end? At first, Kirk and Mendeecees refused to believe it. They had faced scandals before, cheating allegations, financial troubles, on-screen drama. They always bounced back. But this time, something felt different. For Kirk, the reality sank in when he started making calls. He reached out to industry contacts, hoping to land a spot on another reality show. He had been in the game for over a decade. Surely someone would give him a chance, but every conversation ended the same way. "Man, I wish I could help," one producer told him, "but the network doesn't want that kind of heat right now. The fight was too much. Nobody wants the backlash." And that was the problem. It wasn't just about the fight anymore. It was about reputation. Kirk wasn't just seen as a reality star who lost his temper. He was now labeled as too risky, too volatile, and worst of all, bad for business. Rashida saw the change in him immediately. Her husband, the man who had built himself into a reality TV veteran, now spent his days pacing the house, glued to his phone, waiting for a call that never came. "We can make this work, babe," Rashida tried to reassure him one evening. "You've got Frost Bistro, you've got the clothing stores." But Kirk cut her off, shaking his head. "That's not the point, Rashida," he snapped. "This is what I do. This is who I am. If they shut me out, how do I stay relevant? How do we keep the brand alive?" Rashida didn't have an answer. Across the country, Mendeecees was dealing with the same harsh truth. His phone had gone eerily silent. Opportunities that once poured in were now drying up. brands weren't reaching out. His social media engagement was dropping. It was as if the industry had frozen him out overnight. "We need to do something fast," Mendeecees told Yandy one evening, frustration clear in his voice. "I'm not about to be blacklisted. This ain't how my story ends." But Yandy, the strategist, already had a plan. "If the industry won't work with us, we'll create our own opportunities," she said confidently. "If they don't want us on their shows, we'll make our own show." Mendeecees hesitated. "It's not the same, Yandy. If we ain't on TV, are people even gonna care?" Yandy's confidence never wavered. "They'll care because we make them care," she said. "We just have to give them something they can't ignore." But even as she spoke, the industry was already making its decision. Former cast members, producers, and reality TV insiders began speaking out. Stevie J, a Love and Hip Hop veteran, made his stance clear. "Man, I've been in this game for years. There's a line you don't cross. Kirk and Mendeecees, they crossed it." Others weren't so sure. "They want us to act up on TV," one former cast member said on a podcast. "That's what brings in views. But the second it gets too real, suddenly we're too much? Nah, that's some bull." Despite the public outcry, the decision from the network stood firm. Kirk and Mendeecees were out. No second chances. And that's when Kirk made his next move. He wasn't going out without a fight. A legal fight. Kirk had been in the entertainment industry long enough to know one thing. If the network wanted to blacklist him, fine. But they owed him. "This ain't just about a fight," Kirk told his lawyer. "This is about my legacy. They used me for years, made millions off my name, and now they want to erase me like I never mattered? Nah, they owe me." And so, the lawsuit began. This wasn't just about getting back on the show. Kirk was demanding compensation. He wanted damages for the years he had dedicated to the franchise, for the reputation he had built, only to be discarded like trash. Meanwhile, Mendeecees was torn. He wasn't the type to sue. He had already spent too much of his life dealing with legal battles, prison, parole, court cases. The last thing he wanted was another fight in a courtroom, but at the same time, Kirk had a point. They had given everything to Love and Hip Hop, their personal lives, their struggles, their drama. And now, they were left with nothing. As news of the lawsuit broke, the industry erupted. "This is a game changer," one media insider said. "If Kirk wins this, it could set a whole new precedent for reality TV stars. It's about power, about control. These networks own their talent, but Kirk's fighting back. But with the lawsuit came consequences." Now, Kirk and Mendeecees weren't just blacklisted, they were radioactive. No network, no brand, no company wanted to be associated with them while they were in litigation. Even Rashida started questioning if this was the right move. "Babe, maybe we should just let it go," she told Kirk one night. "Focus on our businesses. Move on." But Kirk wasn't trying to hear it. "I'm not letting them win, Rashida," he shot back. "I'm fighting this to the end." Meanwhile, Yandy was thinking bigger. She knew Mendeecees didn't want to get caught up in lawsuits and legal drama. So she made a bold move. A reality TV comeback on their own terms. She reached out to producers, called in favors. And before long, the plan was in motion. A new show. Independent, uncensored, raw. Kirk and Mendeecees might have been blacklisted from Love and Hip Hop, but that didn't mean they were done. The question now was, would the fans follow them? Or was this truly the end of their reality TV reign? The industry had turned its back on them. The networks refused to touch them. Sponsors pulled away, but Kirk and Mendeecees weren't giving up. While Kirk fought his legal battle, Yandy worked behind the scenes to secure their next move. If mainstream reality TV wouldn't have them, they would create their own platform. And that's exactly what they did. They started production on an independent reality series, one that they controlled. No producers dictating storylines, no networks cutting checks, just raw, unfiltered content straight to the fans. Yandy saw the vision immediately. "If they won't put us on their platform, we'll build our own," she told Mendeecees. "We are the brand, not VH1, not Love and Hip Hop, us." But the real question remained, would the fans care? Social media had been buzzing since the scandal broke. Some fans stood by them, calling the Blacklist unfair. They made Love and Hip Hop. They deserve another shot. But others weren't as forgiving. They knew what they were doing. You fight on set, you get fired. Simple. Despite the debates, one thing was clear. People were still talking. And in entertainment, as long as people are talking, the game isn't over. But even with their comeback in motion, there was still one looming question. neither Kirk nor Mendeecees could ignore. Would they ever be allowed back into the mainstream? Would their new venture be enough to sustain their careers? Or would they slowly fade into irrelevance? For now, their next chapter was unwritten. But one thing was certain: Kirk, Frost, and Mendeecees Harris weren't going down without a fight. The industry had counted them out. But were they really done? Or was this just the beginning of something bigger? What do you think? Should Kirk and Mendeecees be given another shot? Or did they take things too far? And will their independent comeback actually succeed? Or is this the end of their reality? TV careers? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on all the latest twists, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This story is far from over. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next.